I Am Athlete Season 3 is here. We heard you guys. We're ready to roll. Want to say thank you to DraftKings. DraftKings, official partner of the NFL, now an official partner of I Am Athlete. Look, they're doing something special this week, and if you go out and you bet $1 on an NFL game, they're going to give you $200 for free instantly. Download their app, DraftKings Sportsbook, and you can have fun. You can party. Promo code ATHLETE. Promo code ATHLETE. Love y'all. Peace.
We're back, season 3. I Am Athlete Pod. No,
Go ahead.
No. That's not my place. You run the show. I'm your sidekick. I ain't Robin.
Hit
but I'm on the side.
Hit it, B. If we got to
So you the
reset,
Z.
hit it again.
Huh?
You the Z.
I'm definitely not the Z.
We
That I'm
back.
not. Oh, I'm so happy. This is gonna be a great show. Let's go! Woo! God, you know how long I've been waiting on this shit? I got so much just built up in me. Like I just want to get out, and I ain't been able to get it out because I can't really talk to her any kind of way because of the mental capacity of carrying a child. But you motherfuckers finna get it. Huh?
Who's that?
Woo!
We had to fight to get a meal. Yeah, wrongfully accused. We had to fight to get appeals. That's why we right to get a deal. He on the team, he gotta eat, despite your skills. Keep it riding for the fam. You gotta light the wheels straight up. But in the past bad, work up in the trash bag. I'll pass a lot to take the test before I pass class. Yeah, and my family needed bread. I had to come correct. That's why I keep airing it out like I just passed gas.
Sha'Carri Richardson.
Sha'Carri.
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 She say Sha'Carri.
She say Sha'Carri.
Just say it all 3 ways.
Sha'Carri.
Yeah, there you go.
Sha'Carri Richardson. I feel like she's in the midst of a PR nightmare almost, like which way to go. We're here in Ocoee. We had an opportunity. We thought we had an opportunity to sit down with her, but it just didn't happen. So we were really excited about this conversation. But regardless, love her or hate her, I feel like that's the conversation in our country right now around her.
She bring it upon herself?
Yeah, she did. Yeah, she brought on herself. Every athlete brings their own situation to the table. If you want to be the good guy, you want to be the villain, whatever you want to be, it's your job as an athlete to paint the picture of what you want to show to the world. 4 months ago, fellas, I didn't know who the Sha'Carri was. And now I do, and now the world knows. So now when you get that national, international, worldwide fame,
right,
you have to show off what you want to show them. And personally, me, I think Sha'Carri is doing a terrible job of her, PR with everybody going on. I don't think she's approaching this right. She's young. She's 21. We all know ourselves at 21. But I think Sha'Carri's doing a bad job of having this fame and then parlaying this into a big-time career, a big-time life goal.
But let me push back a little bit because we celebrate FloJo.
Mm-hmm.
FloJo is Sha'Carri. We don't talk about FloJo being a lightning rod and all up in the cameras and all up in your face and unapologetic. You don't think about that now. You think about FloJo being the fastest woman ever on the planet.
And that big pretty thigh.
So
out
does
on
it
one
matter?
side.
Like, does it matter? Like, you talk about it all the time. We had Kyle Busch on the show, and the first thing you talked about was like, embrace the villain.
I think what you're seeing is Sha'Carri being exactly her, authentic. That's what we should appreciate.
First, can we get on the same page with, is it Sha'Carri or Sha'Carri?
You know what? Miss Richardson is exactly who she is, and I think we should all embrace it. I like it. I like that she's not PC. I like that she is every bit of Dallas, wherever it is that she resides or come from. She exudes that when she runs, when she talks, the hair, the nails, the stylish aura like FloJo. She reminds me of that. She is the 6th fastest woman in the world at a very young age. That's what I like about her.
You gonna keep that same energy if she never wins again?
If she never wins again. If she never wins again?
I'm just asking.
I'll put my house on it.
Ooh.
Obviously, if we pay attention to body language.
I want in on that.
Listen to me. Pay attention to body language in the last race where she lost.
Right.
If I'm not mistaken, I don't know the ins and outs of the rules being a part of Nike, but I think she had to run the Prefontaine Classic, whether she wanted to or not.
But dead last.
Wait, let me finish. Let me finish.
No, I'm talking about
Can I finish?
Dead last.
Can I finish?
Dead last.
Are you gonna let me finish?
I'm gonna let you finish, but she came in dead last.
She did.
That's unacceptable.
I'm looking at body language. What's unacceptable? Are you out there? Are you training
I'm
with
not
her?
out there, and
no,
I'm gonna say what I
no.
gotta say about the
She's still the
situation.
6th fastest woman in the world.
That's true.
I don't think she wanted to run based on body language alone.
Well, how can
Could she
you
have
run?
done better? Could she have done better? Maybe, but I don't think she was in a position mentally to want to run that race.
No, that's a good point. That's a good point because I didn't know until today that being a Nike athlete, you had to participate in that.
Right.
I can totally understand that, right? When you're being led around like that, and we're talking about her, like what I wonder is like, are we gonna have to wait for some True Hollywood story to get, like then do we start talking about the people that are leading her around or her representation? Then do we hold her accountable? Like, is there no such word as accountability to your own character and how it's being portrayed until, 20 years later and we have an A&E story or something like that? But I guess what I'm trying to side with on that with you, Ocho, is the fact that I didn't know that she was forced to perform. That tells me a lot.
That's why I said I'm not sure, but
that's what tells me a lot.
But that doesn't matter. We're still talking about a 3-week window. She was out. She knew when she got suspended, right? Mm-hmm. For the weed or whatever, right? But she still had about 3 or 4 weeks to prepare from that point into that next race. And we can all blame it on mental stresses. She lost her mom. We can make whatever excuse we want to make for her. If you're the 6th fastest woman in history, you don't come in dead last. It's embarrassing.
Fred, she's the 6th fastest woman in history. She was the 9th fastest woman on that track.
But here's the thing.
And those ladies aren't on that list ahead of her. So, and this whole forcing, Nike's not forcing her to run. Did y'all's team force y'all to play? Did y'all's team force y'all to play?
Did you hear the way I worded it? I think, if I'm not mistaken,
they have to
Nike
run.
athletes maybe, based on her body language when she ran, might have been forced to run. That's all I'm saying.
And if like you say, forced to run, it's not forced to run. We know the game is on Sunday.
Contractually, she might have had to run.
And the game's on Sunday for us. We're contractually locked into every Sunday they lined up an opponent against us. We had to play. If
And
you're
when you
arguing
played,
with
did
your
you
wife,
lose some
arguing
time?
with your lady.
Did you lose some time? Did you lose some downs? Did you lose some time?
Yes.
Did you not scrape
Chad,
and get off that tackle
Ocho.
some time?
But you're
Hey,
saying she was
lost-
forced to run.
she
No,
lost
do
a
your
weight.
job and run. You're
That's
a
what she's been doing
sponsored
all her life.
track
That's why
runner.
she's one of the best in the world.
So hard and don't get ninth
Well,
place on
well,
Sunday.
Sometimes you lose.
Hold on.
You never lost before? You never lost before?
I ain't getting ninth.
She shouldn't have, listen, here's my thing. I like to peel back the layers. My thing is this. You got to think about the Olympics, Olympic athletes. They work for 4 years straight for a couple of weeks out of that year, to perform on the biggest stage. Stage is bigger than we've all occupied. A month before the Olympics, she was disqualified because she tested positive, okay? She smoked. What do you think is going through her head? Like, you're talking about she had 3 weeks, 4 weeks, or whatever it was. Put yourself in that position. How can she, you know how hard it is for her to get up every single day and train after that? You know what I mean? You only have a couple opportunities to be in the Olympics as an Olympian. I experienced this at the end of my career. I played 13 years, in the NFL. Never been cut. My last year, cut 3 times. The New York Giants, cut by the Seattle Seahawks, cut by the Saints. In that time, to me, that was the first time I was able to put myself in the shoes of, those practice squad guys or those bubble guys. And I'm like, you know how hard it was for me to get up every single day and train while I was waiting on a phone call. I had to push myself, eat right, do all those things. So I think when you look at this whole situation and that race and her coming in last, I understand how she came in last.
I think that's bullshit. Because if you talk about, not with you, right? Because that happens in our sport, but she knew the rules. It comes down to discipline and your mental focus. Right. This is the biggest moment in her life. How she up. And I ain't bashing her. I want to be a big brother to her. If I knew her, I would definitely try my best to reach out to her. But she knew the rules. You're going to go and smoke and take away everything that you prepared yourself for and miss that opportunity. Who knows if it'll ever come back, because it's every 4 years. She did what she did at the Nike event, and she lost that. Nike's a corporate conglomerate, right? I don't think that they would put her out there if she wasn't ready. So whatever happened in that particular race, I think it comes back down to
you don't think they would put her out there if she wasn't ready?
Nike?
You never got a shot.
Listen.
When you wasn't ready and you were told to get out there?
The thing about me was different than her. I was always ready. That's the difference. I probably didn't play well.
No,
but
sure.
How many teammates did you play with that wasn't like you?
This is a different sport. It's an individual sport.
No, that's a really good
point. So I get what you're saying. You know what I'm saying? So, but you have to put yourself in a mental box and say, now it's time for me to let the world know what I've done. Simply because she talked that type of, I was always humble. I never approached the game like that. But if you're gonna put it out there, you better back it up.
She has been backing it up for years. She's been backing it up for years since LSU.
Look, I want her to do great. For me,
yeah.
Hey, listen, she
lost one. There's a reason why she's in global. Can I say icon yet? Can I say icon? No,
not yet.
Can
not
I?
yet.
Please,
Not
please.
yet.
Because when my daughter sees her that run track, she loves her.
Of course.
She loves her.
Because she's in
your
that
daughter's
space.
the next
She
one.
loves her.
She's in that space.
She's in that space. I like the fact that she is authentically her and not the PC we're used to seeing from people that are at that level. She lost one race. She lost one race.
Let me go back to what you're saying. It's really no difference in other sports. You know, those guarantees that you make. In the NFL, we hear it all the time. Don't make any guarantee. Don't go out there giving any bulletin board material, right? Oh, we're going to win, or I'm going to dominate this guy, I'm going to go for 100. So those are the things that you learn, you know, as you mature and you grow in this sport. Some guys go out there. You got Jalen Ramsey go out there and he talk that talk. You have Richard Sherman talk that talk, and they back it up. Sometimes they don't. Sometimes they get got. And then you have some guys that won't put themselves out there because they know the backlash you're going to get. So it goes back to this whole thing, like, who are you going to be? Like, are you going to embrace the villain and go all the way out there with that confidence and say, you know, I'm going to win this race? But you got to be strong and you got to be so, like, bold to do that year after year after year, because if you don't, when you go in that locker room and you're looking in the mirror and it's just you and that's it, man, that's a tough moment.
I call it the Ali effect. Ali did it, right? That's what made Ali the greatest boxer of all time. Deion Sanders did it.
That's right.
You feel me? But there's also moments when you got to know when to shut it off and be humble. I got today. You know what I'm saying? That's what happened. You can talk and be that shit before you go and compete. But if it doesn't work out your way, just say, look, I brought it today.
Right.
It didn't work out. You know, and whatever else you say, go
what
back
did
and
she say after the fight?
No.
But I loved it. What I saw after that race, I saw strength. I know as an athlete, she walked in that locker room and probably cried. If I had to bet on it, I felt like she walked in that locker room and cried. But to me, as an athlete, right, and this is, you go to Simone, you go Biles, you go to Naomi Osaka, right? Like, this is this thing, like, you got to put on this Teflon in front of the world, in front of all these cameras, and you got to be this Greek god. And so what I saw in that moment was her being strong and saying, oh, you think I'm done? No, I'm going to be back. I saw strength. I didn't see weakness in her. I thought that was a moment where she should have said, like, yeah, that's right. I'll be back. It's one race. So I saw strength.
But that's the thing you're talking about, like that villain role. And that's what she wants to become. And I know.
She doesn't have to become it. She's built for that. She has
built for
something
the
that you
villain
can't coach. She has She has this it factor. That's just her. She's not trying to portray that. That's just what she is.
And the villain has to have a backing of success behind them.
She has a huge backing of success. Where have
Ocho.
you been? Do your homework
listen,
on
no,
Miss
no, no, no,
Richardson
no, no, no.
first.
How many gold medals does she have?
2019.
How many gold medals does
We
she
are
have?
not. No,
That's what
listen,
track.
we're not going to do.
Ocho,
We're
track,
not going to. We're
track.
not going to.
What's the biggest level of track? The best in the world.
Representing the U.S., right?
Best of the world.
And getting gold medals.
0.
We're not going to downplay what she's done to this point because she didn't get a fucking gold medal. That's what we're not finna do.
But why not?
Just don't put your leg on the table. You get mad.
No. But
Because this table right here is gonna break.
right.
Okay.
I'm not.
And he got his crew socks on.
So,
Crew
Ocho,
socks heavy.
Let me ask you a
He
question.
from
How
Cali.
old is your daughter? And she runs track, right?
Yeah.
Your daughter.
Junior in high school.
So how old is she?
15.
She's 15.
16, excuse me.
And how old
I have
is?
so many, my bad.
And how old is Sha'Carri? She's 16.
21. Yeah. 16.
She's 21.
yeah.
Sha'Carri's 21.
Yeah.
So if your daughter was in that position, right, and did the same thing, right, and talked that after
Yeah.
a loss like
What
that,
she does now, yes.
what do you have to say? What do you do? Do you reinforce shit talking after you get dead last?
You seen me play before? I talked before. What happened against Revis? What did I do on CBS before that game? Do what?
Talk.
And what happened? I lost, right?
Yep.
I embraced the villain role, win or lose.
So what did you?
So with
No,
my
but
listen,
Ocho,
but
you
wait,
were
let me finish.
Ochocinco.
Let me finish.
You were a
Can
Pro
I finish?
Bowler before you had
Let me
that.
finish. But what I did do, and what I would do with my daughter is, you got to this point by doing one thing. It's working. The track, the
So do you
rubber,
teach-
the spikes.
So you teach her something about humility, about getting back to work.
Sins, but don't change who you are because you lost a race. The word humble. I hate when people say using the word humble. All you're trying to do is just dim your mother light that man up there gave you. That's what makes Sha'Carri, Miss Richardson, because I don't know how to say it the right way.
Sha'Carri.
What makes her is what we see. The hair, the nails. Humbling that, it ain't just, that's not her. You lost. Go back to the drawing board. Do it again.
But bro, you
sorry,
talk about that
shit, my
shine,
bad.
you talk about that
Sorry.
star, Allison Felix, the female track runner that has
One
the
of
most,
the most decorated, right?
ever.
Right.
She doesn't need to talk shit.
That's her
She
personality.
doesn't. But no.
That's her.
She
you
is
can't compare.
she is head and shoulders better than Sha'Carri Richardson because of her successes. Not talking, not being.
Why are you comparing the two? We talk
Because
about one that is towards the end of their career and one that
I'm
just
talking about-
started.
She's
And
a
that's
baby.
the thing is that moving up through the ranks.
You don't have to change who you are to be successful. That's like telling Usain Bolt, hey, you're going to have to shut up and stop being you. Stop lightning bolt
You know
up
what?
in order to be you.
And that wasn't lightning bolt when he was coming in ninth place,
See,
Chad.
He's lost before. You know that, right?
I
You
know, but he
Usain
was
Bolt
not
lost
getting
before, right?
roasted by everybody at the Prefontaine Classic.
Fucking race.
No, after
what are we doing?
There's-
you got kicked out of the biggest race of your life for
That
marijuana.
She would be at
This
more,
was her chance,
She
Chad.
would have 3
Chad.
more Olympics. You know she's
Chad.
only 21,
No,
right?
Chad, this
Olympics
is your chance.
every 4 years,
Chad,
right?
You get suspended. You get suspended for something. I don't know what you got. When you were playing, you got suspended for something. Let's say 4 games. That 5th game you came back. That's your chance to show them what Chad Ochocinco got. You go out there, have nan catch, nan yard, nan touchdown, get choked out by a okay corner. If you're supposed to be the best, when you come back from that suspension, bro, you about to show out and show the world why they should respect you. That's what everybody, am I wrong, fellas? Did everybody expect at the Prefontaine Classic she was going to come out there and show the world what they missed in the
was rooting
Olympics?
for it.
What they missed in the Olympics. She did. I don't want to see what I saw in
Okay.
that Classic.
Listen, we had this notion on what we expected to see when she ran the Olympics. Oh, we didn't get the result that we motherfucking wanted, not knowing what's going on with her, but everybody jump off the bandwagon now. Miss Richardson, continue to be you. Do not change. Go back to the drawing board and do what you do. What's got you to the point you're at now. It's simple.
You're going to tell her how to handle success?
It's simple.
Because that's a big piece of
It's
it.
simple.
If you
It's
can't handle
simple.
success, it's like when
What do
you
you
get
say?
when
She
you
lost
get your
she
it's
lost the
like when you-
race.
I understand
Fred,
that.
come
No, I'm not
on.
punishing. I'm not beating her up on that. Because you lose and you win. But it comes back to how do you handle success when it happens? Is she ready for that? Because we're judging her on the 10-6 or the 10-6 that she ran when dated. And our expectations were that she was going to go to the Olympics and beat the fastest 3 Jamaican women that that run in the sport since FloJo. That ain't happened. So how do you handle your successes?
Well, and you
Is she
and the thing
is
is
she
too,
ready for that? That's my question to you. Is she ready? She has to ask herself
I can't answer the question.
And
I
if
can't answer
you
the question.
But she
for you.
has to be ready for that.
I just know, based on what I've seen and based on what I've seen watching her career from LSU to this point, sometimes life.
Okay, let me
listen. Sometimes life, and then sometimes it can take a dive.
But
It's
that's
all about how
preparation.
you react
and
after.
that's the people
That's
you
right,
keep
that's right.
around
It's all
you,
about how
right?
you react
That's
after.
true, and that's adversity. But much like us, we come into large sums of money when we make it to the NFL, right? We're not all prepared for it. How do we handle it?
well,
Or
that's
do
the
we
question.
have a strong team
a part
around
of, a part
us
of what I want to ask
to put
is
us in position so we don't fuck it
you
up?
keep promoting.
I don't want
you
her
keep
to mess it
promoting.
up.
You know, do you?
We
do
continue
you?
to
do
be
you?
you.
Right?
Because
That's
they,
just a bad.
But-
that's
and-
just
and I
everybody
know
wants
Brandon-
everybody.
but I know
be in
Brandon
a
didn't wanna
box.
talk about
Everybody
this,
wants everybody
but
to be in a box.
I'll bring
be
it up.
quiet. Be humble.
I know Brandon
Just
wanna
go
talk
do your
about
job. Shut up and play. It's the same bull.
Agreed. Right? She's a great entertainer, right? And so are you. Right? But the thing is that Brandon didn't want to talk about this, but why are we sitting here in, I can't even announce the name of the town.
Okoe.
Ocoee.
Why are we in Ocoee? Why are we here? I mean, that's the question. It's like, why are we
So-
here?
so, but-
we came up
to sit
But
down.
here's what I
to
would say.
to sit down
Sha'Carri.
with Sha'Carri,
Yeah,
right?
but-
But
Go ahead.
in I don't want to drown out anybody's thoughts on that. But the thing is that a continuation of her being her and her doing her? Are we sitting here, right? Because we wanted to come up here and have a conversation with her, right? That's my first question.
or
It's like,
maybe-
are we here because of that? And is this a continuation of her doing her, right? And are we saying the same things as if she were to be here?
So
Yes.
With the
exactly.
conversation
Or
be the
maybe,
same.
or
Listen,
maybe what if
this is
she's
locker room.
doing exactly what we're telling her to do?
This is the.
Man,
this
you're
is
a professional. It's about showing up. At the end of the
What
day,
if she's doing exactly what she
we
said?
do
What if
everybody
she's
else
going
a
back to the drawing
disservice.
board and stop talking just to make sure her next race
you're
doesn't end
saying
up like
do
the
you,
last.
and I feel that. We want to keep it 100. We want to keep it 1,000. That's what the platform is, right? You want to be yourself. You want to be authentic. Don't change. But it's okay to follow these rules. You know what I'm saying? Not put you in a box, but follow certain rules to make you more successful. We just trying to make sure she go out and be the best Miss Richardson that she could be. I don't want to take nothing from her. I root the for her, bro. I want her to beat the out of them other countries because I'm American. I don't want her to be the American headache
But here's what I. Oh.
at the end of the day.
But here's what I would say to that, Fred and Jay, is I think it's smart I think it was smart of her and her team for her not to do this show. And the reason why is because we know a lot of us, it's business and it's personal. And a lot of us, as athletes, it's all personal because the sport that we play, it saves our life. It gets us out of our situation, right? So it's personal, it's not business. So for me personally, it took a long time for me to understand that being in the National Football League was business. It wasn't personal. The way I was wired was, no, this is how I eat. This is how I'm gonna get out of the hood. And so there's a way you can be yourself 100%, but you have to learn how to work with the media. So if she's gonna embrace the villain, that's fine. If that's the role you're gonna play. Only a few have chosen to do that and have succeeded, right? She is 21, she is a baby. So there is a lot to learn. So for me, she is a superstar. She's the sixth fastest woman ever on this planet.
Soon to be first.
Soon to be, potentially. If she does what Fred is talking about, and that is being a pro, showing up, doing those things. But for some, it's a process. For me, it was a process. It took me 5 years to realize, like, oh, I can't go in front of the media and say whatever I want to say. Now, you can still be yourself, but at the same time, you got to know how to use the media and not let the media use you.
No, that's a really
100%.
good point. That's a really good point because, one of the things that I started thinking about, coming into this, preparing to speak with her, something that I wanted to kind of, find common ground with her was sitting there saying like, okay, she came on this high level, right? We all, or at least myself, I only got to know her through this controversy, right? Through this international controversy of missing the Olympics. The thing is that like what I would have said to her, and that's what I was trying to imagine if she were here, is that I think it was just, I looked it up, I think it was only me and Fred that got drafted in the first round. And I think me being drafted in the first round and then me breaking my leg the very first game that I played in, right? And then trying to come back 6 weeks later from a broken leg and play and break my foot the first week of practice that I tried coming back, taking up a bunch of shots, taking tons of pills just to practice for Tony Sperano, RIP, right? For Tony Sperano, because I didn't want to disappoint. You were on the team. I didn't want to disappoint you. I didn't want to disappoint my team, right? I didn't want to feel like a bust, but that's exactly what got thrown on me. As soon as I broke that, right? People start looking at you like you're on this athletic downward spiral, like you can't come back up. That's it. And I've seen the looks. I was 21. But this is what I'm saying, is that, like, I think there needs to be a certain amount of accountability if we're going to support her. But then at the same time, I would say to her that, you know, I feel her pain in a certain type of way, because automatically some of my best friends, some of my family, my own grandfather was like, oh, well, that's your career there, buddy. Coming in at a high level, first round draft pick, coming in at a high level, Olympic athlete or potential Olympic athlete. Right. And then to have that happen, and then the conversation becomes, you know, are you a bust or not? There's a picture of me in the Dolphins locker room when they had all those blue leather couches, right? There's a picture of me with my leg up on the couch like this with a broken leg. And there's media all around me, right? Asking me, because I was a first round pick that year, right? Asking me, you know, what's gonna happen? How do you feel? All this stuff. And I played it off like it was nothing, but I was hurt. I was very hurt. And all I kept thinking is, like, I'm from the same town as Sam Bowie. All right, Sam Bowie got drafted before Jordan, who had broken leg after broken leg after broken leg. That's all I could think about. It's like, I don't want to be put in that same category. I don't want my legacy to be this person who's continually automatically a draft bust because I was taken in the first round. It felt, what I kept saying, and even in hindsight of my own career, what I kept thinking about was like, man, first round draft picks really have so much more room to fall than they had to actually ascend, because you're coming in at a high level. Right. And I think it's the same thing with Sha'Carri, Miss Richardson, right? I think it's the same thing with Miss Richardson, is that there's so much more room for error because of the way that she entered the public eye. And that's one thing that I was writing about before this, that I couldn't even imagine coming in on an international level. It was just Miami that knew me, right? I wasn't even I was a 3-4 defensive end. I was asked to 2-gap. Right, so nobody even knows what the hell that is. Right. So the thing is, I can't even imagine.
But here's the thing, though.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I hated it. I hated it.
He wasn't good at 2.
I played behind him. He wasn't that good at 2-gapping.
Not my first year. My first year was not good because I had never done it.
Let me say this, because we're talking about, we're in a tough spot here. Because we don't want to be like the traditional outlets and networks, right? We want this to be a safe place for our athletes, but at the same time, this is locker room talk. In the locker room, there's a lot of accountability. And I will say this, and you guys know this to be true. Accountability is what gets you there.
Correct.
Right? And sometimes it's private, and sometimes it's public. Like, for all of us, we've been in the locker room, been in situations where it was that OG that came to you, pulled you to the side, or even on the field, pulled you to the corner and was like, yo, you know you could probably do it a little bit differently.
That's what he did to me. You remember the day you did that?
Yeah.
It was the same day. It was all in the same thought. It was the same, I mean, right around the same time, my rookie year, it was all the same thing. We were doing screen drill, right? In screen drill, what do you do when it's a screen drill?
You got to run.
You got to run, but you let him throw the screen for the sake of the drill. You let it go, right? But what did Chad Henne do? He threw it right at my head. Right? So I'm not going to bat the pass down. I caught it, and I started running with it, right? And that's when Sperano started yelling at me, God, Dodrick, are you stupid? Right? I start yelling back. As soon as I started yelling back, man, what the f***, he threw it? He grabs me. What is wrong with you? Shut up. Do your job. Now, the thing is, we're on the same team, and I think that's a big difference between team sports and individual, right? Is that you cannot show up to an interview like this or an engagement like this because she's on her own. She's on an island. She doesn't necessarily have a team that she has to be accountable to. And there's nobody there. There's no wins and losses that she has to take with other men or women, right? It's all her. It's a time, and that's it. So I think there could be a potential lack of accountability within her own group. That's what you have to ask.
I was going to say, because all y'all brought up this whole thing about supporter. Allison Felix said that. Support her. She said, give her a hug, pull her in. Support is one thing, but there has to be criticism with support. Because if somebody needs support, they need to be addressed on some issues.
See, and that's
if you
my
think
point.
about it, you know what I'm saying? Like
That's
if somebody has everything in their life going the right direction, everything in their career going the right direction, they don't need support. They're fine. So support should come with criticism, and that's the thing that I think Sha'Carri and a bunch of, and we're gonna get to Naomi and Simone here in a second. But if you want to support somebody, there needs to be criticism.
Exactly, and in that support, when you supported me, you gripped me up on the side of the fence.
But
that was his support. He gripped me up.
Yeah.
And so that was the thing, and I took that as a sign of love. But maybe that's because it's a totally different culture. But I saw him do that, and I remember it vividly. Right. He gripped me up on the fence. What the fuck is wrong with you?
Yeah.
Listen,
but that was love.
It comes back to, and I'll say this as I'm talking to her, right? We got to talk about mental preparedness, mental focus, accountability, as you said, and a sense of urgency. She's 21. Chad says she has 3 more opportunities. And they're going to come like this. You know how fast time fly, man. Yeah. She'll be 34, 35 on her last Olympics before you know it. You're going to waste time. You're going to make excuses. Like, what are you going to do, right? So we have to give her a message that at some point, something has to click. Something has to change. I always played and performed like I was going to fail the fuck up. I scared the shit out of myself in order to get the best out of myself. And sometimes you got to do that. Is she afraid? Or is she cocky? You feel me? Like, what side is she on? You can be like confident, but you can't have an attitude that I got this in the bag every time.
She's confident.
You can be confident, but you also gotta fear failing. You have to. That'll get you out your seat.
I think she's fearless. I think she's fearless.
That's a problem.
But here's the thing. Here's the thing.
That's a problem.
You don't think she's
For
fearless?
me, that's
She can't
a
be
problem.
fearless because she responds to IG posts of nobody's.
That's the thing.
That's maturity. There's a difference between fearless and maturity.
That's an insecurity.
No, it's not. It's
For you to respond, and I noticed somebody said I could have beat Sha'Carri in that race, and she said I would triple your annual pay if you could beat me in a race. That's insecurity.
Chance, how many
just
times have
firing
you
back.
said
That's
that?
all that.
Why are you going to fire back at a 12-year-old girl living in Ocoee?
Chan, how many? Chan, you've been playing football all your life. You went to UF, biggest stage, the Swamp, your Gator Bait, all of that. Been there. Y'all play in front of crowds bigger than most NFL teams.
90,000,
then you go to the Miami
baby.
Dolphins, right? And you play there. So you mean to tell me you were perfect?
No. Not perfect, but
how you responded to
no
criticism?
but. There's no but after.
Yeah, ain't no but. Ain't no but.
You know,
Were you perfect?
You know, no, nobody's perfect.
There we go.
Nobody's
Me
perfect.
neither.
Tom Brady's the GOAT. He throws interceptions.
Yeah.
You know, the leader of everything, and the best running back of all time fumbles.
Yeah.
But for Sha'Carri, and I take it, when you respond, and I do it with Kevin Durant as well. When Kevin Durant has a ghost Instagram to respond to people, that is a mental insecurity.
Yeah,
that's
That's
why I
a
say
mental
mature,
insecurity that you have to respond to nobodies. And I'm not calling people nobodies, but if you're Kevin Durant,
guess what Kevin Durant
you're
did?
Sha'Carri Richardson, what the does it matter what somebody down the street living in their mother's basement thinks
That's
about
called
you?
fan
That's
engagement.
insecurity.
That's
no,
called fan
Chad,
engagement.
You know what? And I'll give you this, Chad.
It's called fan engagement.
You do fan engagement because I've seen you pull up and play FIFA at a fan's house.
Yeah.
That's fan.
I f them up.
And you f them up.
Yeah.
Have you ever told somebody that you'll triple their annual salary if they can catch more balls than you out of the jug machine?
Listen,
you would not
there's
do
more
that
than
because
one way
that
to skin a
shows
cat. That's her way of lashing
what?
back out. You know, it's like
why do you
it's
need
like
to
it's
lash
like
out?
it's like telling jokes. If we sitting here ripping, does it mean I'm insecure because I'm ripping? No.
If I'm sitting here ripping with 4 guys that played in the NFL for a number of years, that's just having a good time.
We can't
if I
define.
am on Instagram or Twitter responding to a dog emoji, that's insecurity.
I made that.
That's insecurity.
Hey, listen.
Why do we always jump off the bandwagon as soon as something doesn't go right with somebody?
No, I don't think
When it
it's
goes
that.
right, when it goes right, you get attention.
Everybody, we love Sha'Carri. She's winning. And the minute she lose, everybody got the motherfucking answers. Right. Why not continue to have that same support? We got you, sis. Get back to the drawing board. Do what you need to do. The same way you've been doing it outside of this one
No.
race.
Not one race.
One.
We expected
here's
to
the
see
deal.
her in the Olympics.
Well, here's the deal.
That's what built it up,
So we
Chad.
holding
That's what built up the
Well, here's the deal.
anticipation of the Prefontaine Classic was her being kicked out of the Olympics.
No, what
for
built it up is the
marijuana,
fact that
which
she's
I
been
think
winning
is-
for a very long time.
And
that
we
part.
and look,
That
we
part.
just saw.
She's been winning for a
listen,
very long time, way back.
So why didn't
Way
I know?
back.
Why didn't I know her name 5 years ago?
Huh? Because you're not into track, obviously.
5 years ago, what you talking about? She was 16.
I'm just saying, why didn't I know her name 2 years?
16.
Why didn't the
You
world?
should have. She won a national
Why
championship.
didn't-
That's when she became the sixth fastest woman.
Why didn't
when
the
she was
world-
19?
Why didn't the world know her name 2 years ago?
Because they know
world-
Shelly Ann
The
Frazier.
world did
All right,
not
let
know
me
her
say this.
name.
Let me say this.
Track-
Let me
track
say this. Let
world
me
did.
say this.
Fellas.
The track
Let
world
me
did.
say this.
But the track world is small.
Let me say
It's
this.
not small.
You like you got something. You like you got something you want to get off your chest.
Well,
Yeah, because like you over there, you're the new guy.
Don't
The new
let
guy
the
over here.
big- don't let
Like,
big
come
fella
on, like
hit
go
me.
ahead, get it off your chest, bro.
well, it's just. I
need
think
some
it's
more yak.
because you can
right.
you can sell that better. You can sell the controversy better. If she's just winning, and just winning and just winning, it's. If she's a winner, like that's a question I wanted to ask her. Do you want to be a winner or do you want to be a superstar? Right? You want to be a winner, you want to be a superstar. Does it matter even if you win? Because it seems like with the nails, the hair, all of it, I love it. I love the expression, right? It's artistic expression. We're looking at it, it's beautiful. But would you rather be a winner? If you had to change some of the things that you're doing in order to win, would you do that?
She ain't got all she got to change. is her-
All I'm saying.
All she got to do is like what you said. It's about how you train. It's the work. There's some people like you said. We said Deion Sanders. We said FloJo. I talked about Richard Sherman. I talked about Jalen Ramsey. There's some people that are flashy and they're loud and they still win. And then there's some people that they don't get it done. I think it's like go back to you said what you said. It's like who are you? Be yourself.
Right.
But you got to understand what comes with that. If you go out there and you say, oh y'all gonna, I'm gonna smoke y'all, whatever she said, and you come in last, then you know what? You go in the locker room, you go in and you cry, you look in the
ready
mirror
for the
like,
next
damn,
one.
and then you put your face back on, you get back to work.
Well, this is the thing, right? So y'all play AAU ball, AAU basketball.
No.
You did.
I was selling
Well,
dope.
okay. So you brought up Kevin Durant.
He grew up playing soccer.
So you brought up Kevin Durant, right? When I was 17,
From
I played on the
suburbs.
AAU basketball team. I played on the AAU basketball team, and we went out to Vegas, right? We went out to Vegas to play. We got to the semifinals. You know who we met in the semifinals? Ty Lawson and Kevin Durant. They were on the same team, okay? We had a guy that talked, right? Was talking the whole tournament named Rich. He was a 6'7" wing, right? Played at Milton Hershey High, right? We get out to center court for tip-off, right? We're dapping the other team up, First thing he does, he walks up to KD and he goes, "You ain't get today."
Yeah, I like it. That's what I'm talking about. I like this dude. What's his name?
Exactly.
Exactly. No, that's how you
KD lit us up for 30 points.
That's how you supposed to do.
He said, no, he said to us, and KD said, he laughed at him. He went, "You hear this guy?" And he goes like this to him. He goes, "All dunks. The first half, all dunks, 30 points. Okay?" Then we come out for the second half. They almost called the mercy rule because it was the 30-point mercy rule. We were down by 28 at half. We come back. He comes out. He goes, all threes. All threes the second half, right? They beat us by 40 fucking points, okay? You don't know who Rich is. We gotta win. You gotta win to know the guy that's being him. He's being him,
not
but he
wrong.
smacked the shit out
So
of
let
us.
me say this. Let me say this though. So it was good.
But
it was good. Hold on, let me say
Even
this.
if
Let me
Rich
say this.
never said anything, y'all would have got beat by 40. So either way,
Yeah.
it's
But
not
look,
like
but here- but hold on, here's the
KD,
thing,
it's gonna
Jay.
be KD.
But here's the thing,
regardless.
though. But here's the thing. You talk about winning, and we're looking at her now. It's like, okay, which way is her career going to go? You go to the first race right after the Olympic, and then now you go to Europe, and that's the outing. So, she got a lot of work to do, but it doesn't take away from her being the sixth fastest woman on the planet. You know what I mean?
Or one of the greatest women to ever run.
She reminds me of Des Bryant. Remember the stories like Des Bryant's upbringing? Des Bryant entered the NFL, like most of us, with a lot of red flags, and there was a lot of controversy. And now Des Bryant, to me, is lightweight a culture icon. So I look at her pain, I look at what she's been through. So I put her in the box, Jared, as someone who started running because it was an outlet for her, and it was about survival, and then she ended up falling in love with it. But at the end of the day, as an athlete, when you talk about what's more important, it's like to me, her mindset, all of them, even in practice, I bet she beats herself up in practice if she don't have a great practice. She cries if she doesn't have a great practice. Like I think most of us been there. You know, it's like lose, practice, you know, game time, lights are on. It's all the same.
Can I say one thing?
Yes, Freaky Fred.
Yeah. So right now we're just.
Are you Freaky Fred in season 3?
Yeah, of course.
What are you doing with OnlyFans? So is OnlyFans going to do like? Are you? What's going on with OnlyFans?
It's suspended right now.
Okay, go back.
Wait, you had an OnlyFans?
Huh?
You had an OnlyFans?
You should know that anyway, bro.
Bro, Fred,
What is going on?
Relax.
Fred with it.
Nah, I never had an OnlyFans.
Goats and animals, all
Chill
kind
out.
of
Hey, listen.
nasty.
But no, seriously though, we're basically 5 big brothers, and we all have our different opinions, right? And I think that really is us trying to reach out to her so she can take bits and pieces of what she think might help her succeed. She's gonna do what she wants to do anyway,
right,
at the very end of the day. But because we all have experience and what we've done on this show with season 1 and season 2, we always say, all right, this is our way of giving back. Right. She has to take bits and pieces that she feels necessary to make her better. Right. We're not lying to her. What I said, what Chan said, what Jared, Chad, yourself said, we just trying to voice our own opinions, hopefully that, because we want her to succeed.
Right.
We're not bashing her, beating her up. You know what I'm saying, at the end of the day. But she has to understand she has resources. So what we're saying is, Miss Richardson, you know, if she's listening or whoever's around her or anybody else, you have to put yourself in the mindset of other successful people. Because it comes back to mindset at the end of the day. What's your mental like? Naomi, Simone, what's your mental like?
Can I ask you a question? Just real quick.
For sure.
Those 4 or 5 names you called, the Ali, the Jordans, the Kobes, were they always perfect?
I didn't say that.
I'm just asking, answer the question.
Listen.
Were they always perfect? Did they lose before?
Listen, they weren't always perfect, but we know what the end result is. We know what they are in the history of sport and what we do. I was never perfect. You were never perfect. None of us were.
Right.
But what we're trying to do is we're trying to engage a young lady who we've seen can go hard left or can get their shit on track. She's in an okay position because she's young. That's the beauty about it. But because what our message will bring to her, she has so much time to get it together, but it falls back in her lap. What's she gonna do with it?
Right.
So I've been having a hard time thinking about this, and I've been trying to figure out the right form to bring it up, but I mean, we're sitting here talking about it. We're talking about Sha'Carri. We're talking about individual performance. Fred brings up a lot of great points. We all brought up a lot of great points about what it takes to do individual performance, but we're not talking about the structures, right? We're not talking about the Olympics itself. How legitimate can the Olympics be? And can we question its legitimacy if Sha'Carri Richardson gets excluded from Olympics and competing in the Olympics, right, for using cannabis, marijuana, right, in a therapeutic use, right? Wasn't so much performance enhancing. That's a whole conversation in terms of it being performance enhancing or not. But how can we take the Olympics seriously in their rules if within the same Olympic Games there was a born male who competed in weightlifting, who's taking estrogen in order to go play or to compete in weightlifting? Laurel Hubbard. So my question is to the Olympics, right? Is like, well, how do we take the Olympics serious when they're punishing an Olympic athlete like Sha'Carri for using cannabis, but then almost promoting somebody else to use estrogen, right? Something that manipulates hormones, which is definitely performance enhancing or performance changing. I'm not sure how much estrogen helps you lift weights, but at the same time, that's the same moral compass that they're using. It's confusing to me.
I did not know a lot about Laurel Hubbard.
I didn't know
But
that
I
either.
would say this. I would say it's ridiculous for a born man to compete against women in weightlifting. But on the other side of that, I think it's ridiculous for any league to suspend people for marijuana is dumb. It's dumb.
But think about
because,
what you
bro,
just said.
Alcohol sits in barrels for months, fermentating fruits and potatoes and orange peels, and you put it in your body, it does nothing for you but get you drunk. Marijuana has CBD that is proven, and they started studying it. Once they legalize it in certain states, they could study marijuana and they can pull out the medicinal side, and that's why it become a medicine. That's why people have marijuana cards, because the CBD side of marijuana does help people, helps you relax. And I know dudes that drink, I know dudes that smoke. I'll say it. I smoked my entire career. My entire career in the league, I smoked in Florida. I smoked in high school.
But here's the challenge,
But
though.
dudes that I know that drink B, that's the dudes getting DUIs. That's the dudes hitting their wife. That's the dudes doing.
Right.
Bro, alcohol is 7,000 times worse than marijuana, but leagues have no problem with liquor. Leagues have alcohol. IOC, NFL, MLB, La Liga, they have liquor at functions,
Right.
but they shun marijuana. Oh,
It's different now,
marijuana.
right?
Why?
The leagues are being more lenient on alcohol and marijuana. But here's the challenge. You're talking about leagues. We're talking about the United States. Right. IOC, you say international. Right. So the problem is Sha'Carri, right? Everybody, she should be running. She should run. Let her go. Let her go. Let's petition this thing. But you have to petition all countries. Because in the United States, we're more lenient. In other countries, it's still criminal. We're letting people out in America that have these type of charges. That is the challenge when it comes to the Olympics, is that it's like, it's not just the United States. It's how do you get all countries on, a part of this and at the table and saying that come on, everything that you just said, that's the challenge that you have with the IOC.
Because if you look at China, there's a guy from Russia that got caught in China with some drugs. And they're considering putting him
drugs,
on.
Drugs or weed?
No.
Drugs or weed? That's
marijuana,
what I need to know.
Weed.
Weed's not drugs.
Listen, but it depends on where you are.
Yeah.
Because China doesn't mess around. They're considering put him on, giving him the death penalty. And this just happened, right?
For weed?
Listen, man, what Brandon said, it's all international. This is America. We have our own set of rules and guidelines. And when you get outside of this box, everything changes. And the rules are the rules. They have their own set of rules that you have to abide by.
But if rules are rules, do they not apply to male and female? Like I
They
guess that's
should.
I'm
with you.
Because I can appreciate rules.
I'm not disagreeing. I'm with you on that.
What do you mean?
I can appreciate rules. I understand. Like, she violated a rule, and that's why. Like, there was a teammate of mine in Jacksonville that we both celebrated the day that we knew that we were getting tested, April 20th, right? Or for the first 2 weeks of training camp, you get tested, right? And you know that those are when me and this other teammate, we made a video that we were thinking about putting online about celebrating that our test date came in April. So that means we could smoke the whole summer. So we could go home or we could go take a trip somewhere and spark up, right? So the thing is that I respect rules and I obviously abided by them, just like him. I smoked throughout a majority of my career. But the thing is that how do you respect the rules, right, when they're being bent in such a way in so many other places? So that's my question, and maybe we can't answer that.
Well, and look, the challenge, like I said, is the United States conversation is totally different than the conversations being had in China and other places, right? But here's what I want to say to you, J.O. So you've been working on this dynamic documentary covering all this stuff, and I don't want to give too much up, but what role did marijuana play in your life, and how did you get there?
Well, first it was socially to find friends, right? And that was in high school, and I think it was an ignorant way of getting into it. And I think that's the way a lot of people get into it, right? Is, you find these social groups that you want to be a part of, whether it's the cool kids or the kids that are on the team or the kids that are, getting with the good-looking girls at school that are smoking, and you want to get with them, right? But I eliminated it from my life in high school because I knew that I was going to get tested. If once I started taking football seriously in high school, where it was like coaches were visiting me, and I'm like, and I could test positive. I don't want to ruin this. I got to get out of here. So then I reincorporated in my life my second year with the Dolphins because I saw myself in my first 2 years having the same weekend over and over and over again, just getting hammered, right? Going down to South Beach, right? Going out on Las Olas. And I was just like, I can't do this. I can't keep up. there's no way I'm going to be able to keep up with this, right? Because there were so many people coming down to visit from Pennsylvania or from wherever else that I was coming from, and every weekend was like a birthday bash, just because they haven't been down here, right? And the phrase YOLO was kind of hot at the time, right?
Restaurant YOLO.
Right, exactly. So I brought it back into my life as a source of change because I knew I needed to get out of that pattern. I was in a pattern I didn't want to be in anymore. I felt like a robot. I'm like, I can't do this. Right. Cannabis came back into my life because I wanted to have different types of conversations. And I saw the people that smoked and that were advocates for cannabis were able to have those types of conversations.
It's so interesting hearing you talk about your story and being with the Dolphins. My second year with the Dolphins, this whole Ocho versus Science thing, that's when I really started taking it serious, when we were playing with Ronnie Brown and Ricky Williams. Yeah. And I saw how they were taking care of themselves and they were doing this food sensitivity, test. So I was like, let me start taking care of my body that same way. So I started working with the same gurus they were working with, just on the nutrition side. And I was drinking as well. Like, obviously this was at the height of my career, prime of my career, but also this is when I was, a little bit like, Sha'Carri Richardson, and everybody's story is different, but I mean, like, I wasn't the pro that I needed to be at the time. So I started drinking, and I was drinking Hennessy. And the only thing I thought about was, like, I'm ruining my body, and I got to get up and perform the next day. So that was the first time I tried marijuana. So for an entire year, I started smoking, right? And that was the first time I felt normal in a long time, when I started to smoke. And that was the first time I was able to look at my wife and say, baby, you're beautiful, I love you. I couldn't say those things. Like, literally, I couldn't say those things. And when I smoked, I felt normal again. I felt like I was connecting with emotions. Fast forward 8 months later, I went to Ricky Williams, like, Ricky, do you think something's wrong? Because the Run Ricky Run documentary came out the year before, and I saw what he was dealing with. He's like, no, Brandon, I don't think you're bipolar or borderline or dealing with depression or anything like that. I just think you say all the things that we want to say but shouldn't say and don't say. And I went and sat down with the same doctor that Ricky sat with, and that's when I was diagnosed with borderline personality disorder. And I also gave my life to Christ, and I stopped smoking, during that time, and I was able to find other ways. But that was the first time when I was playing for the Dolphins, and it started off a performance, not wanting to ruin my body, and it helped me.
Yeah, I felt like it was a transition.
Yeah.
Right? It helped me transition, and that you don't need to keep it. But speaking of the word transition, I think I'm supposed to get out of here first.
No, I mean, it's a good conversation. We got Chef coming out. We got Chef coming out. Chef, you came in at the right time.
Yeah.
I think.
Oh,
Hello.
fucking go.
Extra plantain.
Yes, for me.
There you go.
Thank you.
Chef,
Yes.
what's the green stuff?
It's cabbage.
It's marijuana.
It's cabbage?
Yeah, a little bit of cabbage.
Okay.
We got brown stew chicken.
Marijuana and everything now. Thanks, Chef.
Are we allowed to-
You got all
I'm allowed
veggies,
to
brown
record
stew
this?
All
chicken.
veggies, see?
Brown stew
SA?
chicken,
Yes.
rice and peas.
Oh, no? Okay. Chef, welcome back.
Hi.
Season 3, how you feeling?
I'm good. Missed you guys.
We miss you too.
Welcome, Chef.
Thank you.
Praise
So,
God.
Chef, we talked about so much, and we had so many things we wanted to hit on in this first episode. We just didn't have enough time to get there. But I want to take you back to Sha'Carri Richardson. There's so much to her story. There's so much to her. I guess the question I have for you, just to get your perspective on it, is like, if you were her sister, what type of conversations would you be having with her? What would you be telling her?
To remain courageous and confident at all times. That the world is watching you. And she's an inspiration to all little brown girls around the world, that we don't really have much to look up to, So she just has to know that the world is watching and that she's inspiring someone. So whether it's good or bad, you want to lean towards the good,
Right.
But of course, everything is environmental. So depending upon how she grew up in her environment, you only know what you were taught,
Right.
or lack thereof.
Right. And that's kind of my stance too, is a lot of times, and this is one of the reasons why I didn't feel comfortable moving forward with the FS1 show, is how we talked about the athlete. Because you have to have, like, when you watch like ESPN or FS1, you have to have these takes, and your career is built off of these takes. And if I go out there and I have a hard stance on Sha'Carri, I gotta make sure that it's true, right? And my career is built off of that. If I'm right, and so no matter what, I could be wrong, but I'm gonna continue to do everything I can to prop this up and make it to be true, so my career thrives. What we don't do enough on those networks, on those shows, is actually peel back the layers and say, like, she's 21. Look where she comes from.
And she needs
Like, you don't have time to have those conversations. You don't have time. You have 3 minutes. You talking sound bites. In 3 minutes, I got to look at the person across from me or virtually and say, no, there's more to this story, you know? So I'm sorry, I'm kind of like passionate about emotional. But I feel this,
because you've been there.
Right.
And you would rather uplift her
right.
than tear her down.
Right.
What does that say about the world? That
We're
the ratings
not
are
the-
bigger than uplifting another
But we're
human
not
being.
the world.
The world,
And-
humans in general are very fickle. They love you. They love you when you're up. That's in general, in everything.
They hail
We
you
all
and-
have
It's easy to love.
we all have people that have been a part of our life when things were going well. Oh, they clapping. Oh, they love you. As soon as something go wrong, what happens?
It's a saying that we say hail you and nail you at the same time.
Hey,
But
Hold on, say that again.
hail you and nail you.
ooh,
They'll hail you and nail you.
Right.
So they'll hail you and nail you at the same time. But to go back to what you said, the show is called I Am Athlete. How can you not relate?
Right.
Because you've been there.
Right.
So do you want someone to do what was done to you, or do you want to show a better perspective or different outlook? She needs someone to hold her accountable. She needs someone to, as an example, or someone to hold her close and help her navigate through.
That's true.
I don't want her to be Adrian Broner. That's all I'm going to say.
Absolutely. I get what you're saying.
At the end of the day, I want her to go above and beyond, recognize what the pitfalls might look like. That's what this message is. Circumvent that and go forward. I want her to go and be the best. I'm rooting for her. Broner didn't show up for us in season
Chad,
2.
Just this conversation, you just said it, Chad. What'd you say? Hail you?
Hail you and nail
That's
you.
the
Hail you
thing.
and nail you. When
Who
you're
talking
up,
about
when
him
you're up,
now?
They'll hail you.
Who talking
You're down,
about
they'll
him now?
nail you.
No, who talking about him now?
Adrian Broner started getting nailed when he doesn't have success. Athletes are based off of successes, failures, wins, and
And
losses.
that's all that
and that's all
matters.
you are. Chad, I would tell you, and I told you before, you exceeded that. You took yourself marketing genius to exceed just catches, touchdowns,
I was
wins,
behind
or
Ocho
losses.
the whole time. It's been me.
It
Tell
ain't
him I've
you.
been your marketing
Look at that
agent
guy
this whole
turtleneck you have on with buttons on it. Who has a loose turtleneck? Get out of here. Ocho.
Let me.
Loosen up.
Yeah, let me lose it out there.
No, don't change it. Leave that type of on.
Show him that it's
Yeah, right.
Show him you can do without you can do
You know
with
what I'm
that.
saying?
Show him what you can do with that.
What's up? Go
But
back.
no, bro, 99.9% of athletes are based off of their
Performance.
on-field.
What have you
on-court
done for me
success or
lately?
failure.
Y'all
The
know the rules.
The reason they know you is because you catch balls and score touchdowns. You run the ball, you score touchdowns. I tackled people every now and again. Chef Nancy, your damn food is off the chain.
Oh, thank
the
you.
reason they know us is because of what we're good at, and that's where you are praised or nailed off of.
Okay.
And that's the thing that athletes, and I'll tell y'all, I understand why people know me. If you don't understand that, Sha'Carri, I know we're getting Naomi, Simone,
But here's the
flipping
problem,
or
though,
running
Chad.
or hitting the ball,
All right, so
that's why you're famous is what you do in your sport.
So let's hit on real quick on Naomi Osaka, what she's going through, right? Where she's literally saying, I am uncomfortable. It is not good for my mental health during these tournaments, during these matches, to also address the media, right? And so, like, there's two conversations going on. Because as an athlete, right, especially the era we grew up in, do your job. Go out there. And no, this is part of it. The media is why we make so much money, right? So we're put on this platform and on this pedestal to say, like, you are a Greek god. You know, you got these superpowers. But at the end of the day, I am human.
Right.
Right? And I feel like the conversation is shifting around the athlete. Because what we're saying, that's how we grew up. But now, bro, like athletes are now showing that, no, I do have, you know what I mean? I'm just like you. I feel the same way you feel. So when you think about Naomi Osaka, when she's dealing with, I feel like she is now pushing the conversation forward to where now we're going to start talking about the athletes and treating the athletes differently.
Her mental toughness is what they question. Yep. But recently she came back and she said, you know what, I get it. I understand. I like the media, but I think the media should be less more subjective and less objective and more peer-to-peer. So we can deal with what's going on in this space. So she wants to change the conversation so she can be willing to sit there and not be bashed and beat up. So I think there's a difference than when you have other people that just say, you know what, I'm just gonna quit and not deal with it.
It broke my heart seeing her come back and a reporter asked her, well, you're okay on Twitter, you're okay on Instagram engaging with fans, and you are okay using the media. Basically, he said you're okay using the media when it's good for you, but when you're at these matches, you don't want to talk. And she breaks down, she cries, and they had to stop it. That broke my heart, man. You know what I'm saying? I feel like not only in tennis, but all sports need to look at how we approach the athletes and media. It's personal, it's not business for a lot of these athletes. So at their lowest moments, whether it's Cam Newton in the Super Bowl, you know, or it's Naomi, you're asking them to sit up and talk professional and to be diplomatic and say the right things because you have all these sponsors, partners, and these networks. Like, we're banking on you to make sure that you say the right things. We have to change the way we approach the athlete. We have to.
B.
I don't know.
No, B.
Because you have media outlets that are paid to be assholes, much like in your local city.
But it's on the teams, it's on the net, it's on the leagues. It's on these institutions to protect the athletes because they are human.
I don't know, but because who's paying the bills?
But
the TV deals and the media.
What comes first, the
who
business or
drives
the person?
The sport more
the business
than the other? Yeah, of course.
The business.
Okay,
the
go ahead.
person.
You understand.
B,
Who's
no
putting money in your
at
pocket?
any level, if Naomi Osaka never hits another tennis ball, if anybody in the NFL, Saquon Barkley, whoever's name, NBA, KD, LeBron, whoever, if they never bounce a basketball again, the NBA, the NFL, tennis is going to be okay. The business is the biggest thing.
Let me ask you. All right,
It is. No. It is the biggest thing. They want you to do your damn job. Nike, Reebok, these people are not paying Naomi Osaka and Simone Biles and these girls or these athletes and there's other guys that other men as well have done it. Men, women, I don't give a damn who you are. You have a sponsorship because they want to see you doing your job in their brand so that they can expand their brand and make money. The business is where they have to understand. If I'm having a rough day, go do your job. The fireman, the policeman, the lawyer, the surgeon, anybody the chef that's having a bad day has to go do their job.
Let me ask you this.
No, don't ask him that. I got one for you. That's even better.
And if you leave that profession is not going to change. You are a small cog in the big picture of whatever your profession is.
J.O. was sitting here earlier, asked Pepe, he said, your daughter runs track. What would you tell your daughter in this situation after that meet, right? He said, let's get back to the rubber, put the cleats on, let's get back to work, but be yourself. Your daughter, okay, Ava.
You mess them up all the time, we understand.
Your daughter, Ava, plays tennis, okay? She's in that same situation as Naomi. She's in front of the world, Wimbledon, okay? French Open, whatever, U.S. Open. And she breaks down. And they're asking her those tough questions. What do you do? What do you say to your daughter right there?
I would honestly, if she was to start on the path, if Ava starts on the path of Naomi Osaka, and when she gets to a level that she has to deal with the media, I'm gonna tell her, like I tell J.O. and I tell everybody, they're not your friend. Have a set answer and stick to your narrative. And that's what I did when I was in the league. No matter what they ask you in a press conference when you're in the league, you can swing the narrative your way. Hey, why did y'all give up 56 points? Oh, see, our defense, we just transitioned from a 3-4 to a 4-3.
Okay, but let me throw something else in there.
I'm going to prepare my daughter. To answer your question, B, I'm going to prepare my daughter for the media and let her know the media is full of shit. They're not your friends. They're trying to get a soundbite. So give them the soundbite you want to
But
give them.
but then you have Naomi Osaka who says I live with social anxiety. Some people deal with things that we just don't understand. So you got Naomi Osaka who is saying, I live with social anxiety. This makes me uncomfortable. That is a thing. People go to treatment for that. They talk to people, specialists, that learn how to cope and manage and live with. So that's what I'm talking about. What about those?
But I have a question for you, because you play both sides. So when Brandon Marshall, the entrepreneur, the person that understands entrepreneurship, because you've read 68 books, right?
73.
73. Fuck it.
Business imprints.
Right. And I'm dead serious, bro, because I love your mindset, right? And what your visions are. So there's gonna come a time when you have to say, I gotta dress this up and package it so I can sell it. Mm-hmm. Like, who do I really care about? Because at some point, you gotta be like, fuck, I gotta look out for this or I gotta look out for that. Yeah. And that's what's happening in the sports. Media don't really give a fuck about what your problems are. Mm-hmm. They have one objective. They gotta make money and pay bills. What side are you gonna be on when it comes to that?
I think we already made that decision, and that's one of the reasons why we've already had Cam Newton. That's why we've had, Dwayne Wade come here, because the way we hold each other, it goes back to accountability. Linear television, the way we talk about the athlete or the way we talk about people, there's an agenda behind it. We're just sitting here having locker room talk. This is the stuff that we talk about all the time. So for me, it's always giving whoever sits in that seat, the space, the time they need to tell their story. You understand? And then also giving us the opportunity to hold them accountable the way we would offline, And I think that's what makes our show special. And that's why I'm ready for season 3 to continue to go.
Whoa, we didn't even get to the NFL.
Go ahead, NFL. You want to talk about NFL?
What you got?
Shan, I feel f***ing sad. We've been on a sad topic the whole time. I'm about to tear up. Here.
All right, let's go.
Let's go. Chef, favorite NFL team this upcoming season?
Here we go.
Favorite team?
Okay, the New York Giants.
New York Giants. Favorite player you look forward to watching this year outside of the Giants?
Levante David.
Mr. Crowder.
Team.
I'm sure you're a Dolphin fan, right, at heart?
I know I'm a Buccaneers fan at heart. That's why I grew up in Tampa.
Okay, you grew up in Tampa.
Yeah.
Favorite player you look forward to watching this season, and who has the most approved?
You can't ask me favorite player, because
You have a favorite player?
No, I don't really. I just love good defensive play. I hate offense, because y'all motherfuckers are prima donnas and soft, and y'all just run lines, and we react to shit.
So favorite defensive player?
So my favorite defensive player.
You look forward to watching this season?
But I think everybody's favorite defensive player is Aaron Donald.
Everybody like who?
Everyone that watches defense in the league and not prima donna ass.
I mean,
softies
my favorite defensive player in the NFL right now is Jair Alexander, and
he can play.
My brother Ramsey.
Your brother
Jalen's a dog.
Yeah.
Jalen's a dog. I would say Xavier Howard had 8 more interceptions than him last year. Xavier, Jalen had 2 picks and Xavier had 10. So for you to say Jalen is something else. If you want me to go linebackers, I got to go Levante, Darius Leonard, Eric Kendricks, Fred Warner, and Bobby Wagner. Okay. I got to go. Those are the dudes I know going to go out there and knock somebody damn helmet off every year.
Who you got over there, Freaky Fred? You over there eating? You ain't Jacksonville terrible. He over there. He ain't got nothing to say.
Urban Meyer.
We're going to be better than every team you've been on, ever.
Oh, you think so?
Yeah.
Better than the Dolphins?
Who?
The Dolphins.
Oh, the little fish?
Little fish.
Come on, man.
This is what I'm going to say, Fred. Adrian Broner. He lives in Weston, Florida.
Don't work on his name. He done.
He done.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. I don't want her to be like that.
No more. Huh?
He done. He'll be back. He's back in the ring.
You always believe in people. I wish you was my daddy. You always believe in people.
I believe in you.
You don't believe in me.
I do believe in you.
You got to lock up with Randy Crowder, though, and that nigga's big.
Who's Randy?
My daddy, my real daddy. If you want to
Real?
be my daddy, you got to fight my real daddy.
Nah, knock your daddy out.
That blind
You
though,
ain't
so
see
you
him,
probably
you ain't
get
see
him.
him in his fight, his debut.
Yeah, and I know what Randy gonna do. Booty in the air.
Wasn't none of that.
We had to fight to get a meal. Yeah, wrongfully accused. We had to fight to get appeals. That's why we right to get a deal. He on the team, he gotta eat, you know. Despite your skills, keep it riding for the fam. You gotta light the wheels straight up. But in the past bad, work up in the trash bag. I'll pass a lie to take the test before I pass class. And my family needed bread, I had to come correct. That's why I keep airing it out like I just passed gas.